How's it going, guys? Midnight Rains here. I just wanted to go over some really basic early game mechanics, and a lot of people are having some trouble still understanding them. That's okay. Um, the first thing I wanted to go through was like how to power up units. So we're gonna go over to this bar. It's gonna be the power up bar, and let's say I have uh, a regular unit like this. These are the devils. I'll go over to hero so you can see them. They're the black devils. These are what a lot of people are going to be farming with between these, and you'll notice I have a lot of mine goblins. They drop in hell mode, 5-1, 5-2 even, uh, around there. So they're pretty good. The reason I farm a lot of these is for power-ups. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to the power-up. Now see how they're already +4? That's what you mainly want to get is the drops of high. So we look at the 1 stars, and if I feed a 1 star to this to try to power it up, you'll see it has a 50% success rate. So I'm going to try that, and the cost is 1,300 gold. So see, it failed. Now if I try it again, it goes up a little. Now, let's say I'm using, let me finish this one and get it to power up. See how it's 24 now, and now it's 5. All right, so we'll go to another one. Doesn't matter which one. Now, see how the value of success rate here, equivalent to that, is basically half. It's 50%. But if I use a unit of the same value, it becomes 100% success rate. Now, granted, when you're powering up 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star, you're not going to want to use the same of equivalent units. You're mainly going to want to use a 3-star or lower. So I'll finish this one. Let me actually go here. I'm actually going to use a 100%. Just kind of get it over with. All right, so now we go over to how to Evo. So I'm going to click on Fixed Evo. So what that's going to do is you can see here, I'll take 2 units, and the first one I put in here is going to be the one that comes out as 1 star higher. Now, both of the units need to be +5 in order to do this. Notice that I can't click anything else. See, if I click on one of the mine goblins, it says hero needs to reach level 30 and be powered up to +5. So these are 30 and they're +5. The cool thing about the devils is they drop usually around +4, +3 and +4, and they're already maxed out. So that's really good about these. So you're not really going to want to fix Evo these because why? I mean, you already have it. You know it's a gauntlet. It's not a good unit. So what you're going to do is you're going to go one down over to the random Evo. So what that's going to do is you're going to take 2 units that you don't want anymore. And that's very key because fixed Evo versus random Evo can make you feed a bad unit on accident. So you don't want to do that. You want to pay attention to what you're doing. Take it slow. Put both in here. We're going to do a random evolution, all right? So what that's going to do is it's going to make 1 star higher than what you're evoing of a random. See, I got a sea goblin. Granted, I don't expect much when I'm evoing these, but it's a sea goblin. Now, granted, you can get some better stuff like Gaff, Okra. Tafla is actually pretty decent. I'm saving a bunch of them for testing out some stuff. So you see that, and that's why a lot of 2 stars, 1 stars, and that are still useful for that purpose. If you go over to here, I actually do want to work on powering up my Fermata. So we're going to use that in this video. So basically you can kind of see how that works. Notice that it's a 5-star, but if I try to power up even with a 1-star, it's a 1% success rate. I mean, that's super low. Here I come over to a 2-star. And I mean, that's only 5%. So it kind of forces you to use 3-star. That's only a 10% success rate. 3 is, oh, that's what I just said. 4-star is a 25. Now, it's better. And usually you want to keep the 25s, but it gets really, really hard. And it's a waste of material, to be honest. Unless there's like a Guild War bingo event where it's like you have to get specific amount of success rates. I might go like it'll say you need 3 consecutive success rates on a 4-star. So maybe what I'll do for that 4-star is I'll power it up and go with a 2-star. And what I'll do is I'll go like a 2-star and I'll get it, and then I'll go to a 3-star and get it, and then I'll actually use a 4-star for that. And I have a bunch of fodder all the time usually. You'll notice I've been making a lot of 5-stars lately, just to try to get that event out of the way, and then I'm going to scale up a bunch of these. Probably get my Fermata and maybe Fire Ellie going on. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Very, very important. The thing about Transcends, how this works is you take a 6-star hero and another hero that is also 6-star. I do not think I have a extra to kind of showcase this, but what I can do is I can put a unit in here and it shows the Transcend at first is very little. If I go over to a unit that is 36, you'll notice the cost of the Transcend is a lot higher. It went from, I mean, look at this, 10, and then maybe I have a 32, that's 28k, 34, 58k, and 36 is 106k. Definitely a big rise there in cost. So keep in mind, the cost does go up as you Transcend. Once it hits 40, you can see they are blacked out. Very important. Going into Awakens, you'll actually know that I can't activate this guy's skill because it's costing a lot on gear. I do not have slots for this, so I haven't awakened it. But you'll notice you can click here and see what the skill goes to. Pretty cool stuff. It costs 172k. That's flat. They'll never change. When you do Awakens and Transcends, they're 100% guaranteed. So that's nice. You don't have to worry about like a power up like, oh my god, it failed and I lost the unit. So that's always nice. So those are really important in powering up units. Going into another thing that people don't know is changing their rep. You'll see here I have a little crown above my hero here. Now if I come down here and I click this little crown here, see how the little crown switches over to my fire dragon? So that's how I changed the rep. I've been wanting to use Diaz just because a lot of my friends have been wanting to try it out. It's not entirely geared properly. As you look, I mean, it's got a ton of evasion for no reason. I'd like to put that in another stat. And the defense on there is just from like a piece of gear I had. It is not that very good. It's mainly just for accuracy is what I did, was just stack up extra accuracy until I can get a piece that can activate that barrier trait. Then I'll move some stuff around. So that's another important thing. Always lock your heroes. Looking at, you'll look, I can click on all of these and there'll be a little lock icon here. I'm going to activate it on and off for a little bit so you can see that. Always important. Like, look at all these heroes that are locked. I mean, especially the ones that you really value. Granted, you can't feed legends. Oh, actually, I didn't even have my Irene locked. Okay. You can tell how happy I was about pulling so many of them. Granted, I know I haven't even touched her since the buff. So, I've been very busy with gear, and I don't exactly have a lot of gear for her. So it's just kind of what you work on. Going into like lower stuff, like say, I don't want to feed these. I want to save these for future reference or something maybe. Especially like my Fermatas, all my little food. All of my Fire Ellies are locked. I even locked a Unicorn. I might try him out. I was talking about him in one of the videos, being like a tank buffer. So I am working on that, guys. I'd love to make videos with just some like random units that people are like, wow, that really works, So hope to see that in the future for you guys. Another thing you can do is, like, let's say I can click on, it doesn't show it, but right above the crown on the right side here, there's a little like a chat box with 2 people in it. So you can actually go to and see what other people are saying. Now, granted, I mean, look at some of the things people are saying. It's not that informative. So that's another reason why I started making videos, because I didn't want people to feed stuff based on like slapshot like comments. Um, Collect my reward impulsively there. The So that's kind of one of those things. Another thing is going into the book. You can just kind of look at the skills for a lot of the units, and most of the time, once you get later in the game, you can tell. Like you would go over to here, and you would say, okay, we got Isotar. Okay, so we're gonna look through, and you want to see what his Awaken is, because that's what you're mainly going to be focusing on if you're going to use him, because you're going to want to build him to his fullest potential. So you're going to say, okay, attacks the enemy with the highest attack power. Okay, cool. Attacks consecutively, so it has multi-hit. Okay, so it nukes really fast, and you go, okay, so it can make the target bleed. Okay, that's good. So you want a little bit of ACC on there, but then you're like, okay, well, attacks up to 5 times according to your speed. So you instantly can know speed is very important in this unit. And then you come over to here to first attack, and this is like, this allows you to go first. I mean, this is game changing when on offense, especially if you need that first attack to take out their main nuker. Usually the main nuker is going to have the highest attack. Now, granted, myself and a few others have been fooling with different tanks, making them the highest attack to kind of counter this measure. But you can instantly tell this trait needs to be activated. You know, there's certain traits where you're like, okay, increases damage by 8%. Well, if I can outdo that 8%, the further I am from the target, maybe, let's say, like 24% being away from the target. If I can outdo that 24% in just other stats, then I don't need this. And I can put whatever I want. I can change the gems. You can see how you can manipulate the unit to be better than with the stats. But some traits are needed. They just to make the unit work more efficiently. Even with this one, you can see it attacks the same target, again with a 50% chance, and has a chance to poison. So you go, okay, so they both kind of need a little bit of ACC to land that. So you're going to, okay, so accuracy, you're going to need that on there. But you can kind of do that with most units, and it's just, that's how, you know, players are always staying ahead. Players like a lot of players in war, half of us are already working on looking for Tamira gear. I mean, I even have her 4-piece here. I have like 3 possible pieces. I have a speed gear, and I have a tank piece that I could use for her. So I don't know which one I want to build. But I mean, I have her other trait here. Yeah, I mean, it's all ready to go. Some already even have it plus 10. So, I mean, it's pretty important to do that. You know what you want to use before it comes out. Where is the 6-star? Here's Sadie. When Sadie came out, we all knew, like, okay, X formation was going to be, like, the thing. Like, this is it. The 6-star was Aradel. But for Lena, we all knew if we got Lena, like, that multi-hit was going to be big. You know, between her, Sadie, and Aradel, it was like, oh, X formation is, like, the best formation. So this is going to counter, like, the best formation. So we all knew we needed to start working on gear for this. Like, when I had her, I instantly, like, had gear for her. Because I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I already have everything ready. I look in my gear, and there's all these other pieces I have waiting. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I look at, where is, like this one. I look at what can be equipped to this, and there's so many units, and that's just my heroes, but I don't. And I look at this, and I go, wow, I can plus this and work on making this plus 10, and once it is, maybe I'll have pooled another unit that this can go on and be like, man, you know, that's a lot of speed and some nice crit rate. I mean, that's a solid weapon. I can put that on something in the future. You know, so it's all about kind of saving it up. This one I actually took off of my fire drag, so that's why he's actually on there. But if I had you know, like blue drag, I could actually just pop this on blue drag. I mean, it would actually be pretty nice. Eventually, I'll probably make a level 40 blue drag. This is my original from when the game first came out, and those were his stats originally. Now, granted, I've taken off most of his stuff just for other units because I haven't been using them that much. But it's just those things to look out for. Another thing is coming over to these rainbow gems. I'm buying these every week. They're very important. Now, granted, if you're not getting a lot of stuff, I would say Tamira is very important because the high-level players are already going to be buying like 3 of these a week. So it's going to be very important to stay on top of that, especially like guild points. Like I only have 9 today, and it's a Wednesday. That's pretty bad for me. Usually I'm at like 15 within the first end of the day. So being first is very helpful too because you get double the points for all these things you're completing. I mean, look at that, 160 versus 80, 125 versus 62. You know, you want to get these achievements. So that's another thing to look out for. Another thing that helped me level early game was the trophies, doing dailies, and all these other things. They help you out. They give you some extra stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, just look at all the different things I've achieved, and there's people who've gone way further than I am. There's people in like the 20,000s, and I'm still all the way down here. But that helps give you extra EXP. And leveling to 80 is very important, especially even for the black market. Now, granted, I don't always really get anything in here, but I did get my gaff in here. What else did I get in here? I got some like really good stuff, like tarts. Granted, I fed all my tart skill ups anyway, but there's some pretty good stuff that pops up. Okra came up in my shop. You know, I saved those. Little units that I think have potential, I'll put in there. But it's always good to check it just in case something does come up, even though you don't expect anything to. So that's another thing. Going into back to equipment, I'm going to go over gems. Now, the way gems work, a lot of people are a little bit confused. Now, granted, let's say I have these 1-star gems, and there's a bunch of these little 1-star gems. So I go to power up. So what you do is there's 3 that you have to sacrifice to make the gem 1 level higher. So I take 3 other of any color. I mean, I can even do like all colors. I can do like all of these. It doesn't matter. It's just the one in the middle is the one that's going to go up. So you see that it's going to go from 2% to 3% crit damage. So I'm going to power it up. Boom, now it's 2. So I have other 2 stars that are powered up. So I'm going to use those and power it up. You'll notice the cost goes up too. Now it's up to 8K that you have to use. This is where the rainbows come in handy. Rainbows you cannot power up, but because like if I click here, see I can't power it up. Nothing appears. But if I go back to like a different gem, say this one, I can use this as any gem. I can use this for here. I can go over to a square, power it up, bam. Like look, rainbow is right there. Very helpful indeed. Actually, I need to make a 6-star gem. I was saving for the video. So we're going to make a 6-star gem. Not sure what kind of gem I want to make. Very tricky. You know what? We're going to go with an invasion. So we're going to use 3 of these, and we're going to use 1. We can actually even use 3 total of these, but we're just going to use 1 of them and just kind of save some time. So we're going to Awaken, and it's going to be level 6. Now, granted, that wasn't a legend, but that's okay. They can get special properties though, which I was hoping I would get one. I only have 2, I think. Where's that? I removed it from my ping. There it is. All right, so here's one of them. It is called God's Protection, and I think it grants like reduced damage for the team. I have another one on a different unit, but I can't remember which unit I put it on. I think I put it on here. Oh no, it's on my fire drag, right? No, that's whatever. But I got one more, so I only got like 2 legend gems, I think, but that's okay. So basically, what they do is they reduce that. They can have different effects. Some reduce damage. Some when you enter the battle, you have immunity. Some block a certain amount of damage permanently, and depending on like the amount of enemy team remaining, there's a gem that allows you to have a revive depending on how many of the same gems that you have equipped. So you can revive with like 25% health, or you can revive with like 100. So that's very key and very helpful in the game. So I hope these things help you out, guys. I'll try to come up with some more things. Give me some advice. Let me know if, how do I do this? I'm getting a lot of questions in chat about whatever. Just let me know. I'll try to make a video on it. Take it easy, guys.